We're here to talk about improving your mental health by managing stress. One of maybe the most important things in the last couple of years since COVID to go over. This episode is brought to you by Knife. Go ahead and buy more knives. They're very important. Use them a lot. I'm just kidding, but I wanted to show that if you do sponsor, look at that. You could have that whole little segment right there. That could be your brand and your logo. Hit us up if you want to sponsor. Right now, sponsorships are free because I just love getting your name out. So we're going to go over here. We got 3 awesome guests. I'm going to go over my quick tip, then I'm going to bring on some guests, and then we'll have an open conversation. If you haven't been to Millionaires R Made before, I'm Austin. I've founded over 30 companies in 20 different industries, and this whole show is about normal people giving normal tips for other people to grow. So we all may have strengths and weaknesses, but in order to become a millionaire in spirit, physical, mental health, and even financially, we should be growing every day. So to manage stress, here's what I do. And sometimes I get a lot of it. I forget about it. When everything piles up and gets to work and you're like, fuck, this sucks. I have so much to do. I stop and I forget about it. And then I go and I help other people. So one of my favorite things to do is go post on Facebook and say, hey, who has a problem right now? I would love to spend 15 minutes on the phone with you and see if I can solve it. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes we just talk about naps and snacks. But it gets me away from my problems, gets me away from all the stress, and I'm able just to have a 15-minute period where I just focus on whoever I'm talking to. Sometimes I do 2 or 3 of them in a row, depending on how much stress. So if you ever see me post on Facebook, feel free to get a call. Let's have some fun. Sometimes I'll even just go out to lunch and just forget about it. So my tip is when you are so stressed out, put it all in a closet and forget about it for an hour and go talk to someone else about something else. All right, let's bring our first guest on here. We've got Laurie. Morning,
Hello.
Laurie.
Hey.
How are you doing?
Great.
All right. Well, let's get started. Laurie, who the hell are you?
Okay. My name is Laurie. I live in Oklahoma and I am an entrepreneur. I have, I do kettle corn, which I know you like.
Delicious.
It hurts my body. I'm just like, but anyway, I do some other tips anyway, but I have kids, I have grandkids. I love my grandkids.
All right. So if I were to try to improve my mental health by managing stress, what would I do?
Well, what I do, I normally have my personal time in the morning. I'll do my devotions or I'll do my affirmations.
Okay,
I'll
daily
journal.
affirmations.
I do journaling, write my gratitudes. So I try to think of things that I'm grateful for first. Whenever I do have stress, I try to turn that around and think of good things versus the bad things that's going on. So, and if I can help somebody, it kind of eases it out. So
you look at the silver lining. When stress comes in, I mean, just having stress is kind of a silver lining. It's important to have. It makes us grow, makes us work harder, makes us fight through the pain, makes the pleasure more available. I mean, it's a natural reaction. So for you, when's the last time you were stressed?
Maybe last week. I don't know.
Like, never. What are you talking about?
No, I do get stressed. Stress causes me to gain weight, so I try not to be stressed, honestly. So I get massages every week. Pedicure every couple of weeks. So if I could do that, that kind of helps relieve, some stress too. And then just staying away from assholes.
Stay away from. Is that your tip? Is that going to be your tip? Stay away from assholes.
No, write down in a journal, whatever's bothering you, write it down before you go to bed.
So do you have, when you journal, do you have a prompt, what happened, how I feel, or you just free write it?
It's just free writing before you go to bed. So if there's something on your mind, I just write it down at night.
Do you journal every night?
Mm-hmm. And then you can just burn it. So it's gone.
Wait, you burn the pages of your journal?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, now that is an interesting tip. So every night You're getting ready for bed. You brush your teeth, pull out your journal, and do you just write down the negative things that happened in the day or the stressful things, and then you burn
the
it?
stressful.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the act of burning it kind of like relieves it and moves it out of your head.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. That's definitely something I'm gonna have to try.
Try it. It kind of helps me sleep better too, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's cool. All right, what happened in your life to give you that? How did you come up with that tip? Where did you learn it? Who taught you?
Okay, well, I hired a coach, Miranda Jiggins.
Oh,
yeah, last year.
Shout out Miranda.
And one of the things that she suggested that we do is journal. Of course, our gratitudes in the morning, first thing, our boundaries, our wins, and then at night do your write and burn.
Very cool. So hired her, taught you this, and you still practice it.
Yes.
Very cool. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that's great.
All right. Well, we're going to shut you off, and I'm going to bring out Justin. Thank you so much, Laurie. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
All right. Thank you.
Justin, what's up, my man?
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for having me.
Welcome to Millionaires R Made. I've got one question for you to start it off. Who the hell are you?
I am a pretty special human being. I'm a father of three beautiful girls. I'm located in Michigan, up here in the beautiful Midwest. And I'm just like everybody else, just trying to achieve happiness every single day.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. All right. Well, if I'm trying to achieve happiness by improving my mental health by managing stress, what tip would you give me?
Lucky for you, I've got an awesome tip and one that I'm confident you can manage. It's just a smile. So life constantly gives you stress. It's a good thing if you look at it such. So whenever you're feeling that pressure coming on or that anxiety coming on, I just shut my eyes, I smile.
Wow. How often, how many times a day did you do that?
I'm not embarrassed to say as much as needed, but maybe 5, 6, 7 times. It just depends on the day.
Take a deep breath, maybe. Deep breath and smile.
Yep. And just hold that smile until you feel better. And as soon as you think if you're feeling better, are you like, hey, I'm wondering, do I feel better or not? That means that you are. And then you can approach the stress differently. The way I view stress is there's only 2 sides of the fence to approach it. There's the negative side and the positive side. No matter what side you're on, stress is going nowhere. You got to manage it. You got to deal with it. So do you want to do it negatively or positively? When you break it down like that, it's very, very simple. To get to that positive state, just smile. Stop what you're doing, close your eyes, and smile.
I love it. Wow, that's pretty simple. So how did you learn about that?
Through experience. It took me probably hitting my emotional and stress managing rock bottom to recognize that it was time for me to make a change. And when you're in those states, you don't feel like you have tons of resources. You don't feel like you have tons of options that you can do. You got to kind of dig in deep and use simplicity. And that's when I discovered something so simple as just smiling. I've always been an upbeat person. So after going through my business being lost, a tough divorce almost 2 years ago, I had to do something to keep trudging forward. You can't do it the white knuckles always. You got to find something to release. So I just smile. It's free. It's easy. It's contagious. And it's gotten me to this point.
Okay. So you lost your business. You're going through a divorce. Mental health was in the bottom, right? You said it was the lowest it's been.
It couldn't be any lower. I wasn't managing stress at all. It was managing me. I wake up in the morning. Oh, I feel this kind of way. Bam, my whole day is off. My whole course is off. So I use it as a tool now.
So you're sitting there, probably depressed, unhappy, life sucks. And then it's kind of almost like a diamond. You got so much pressure that eventually you're just like, all right, fuck this. I'm going to start smiling and I just got to turn this around. What do you remember the turning point where that came?
Yes, I do. So for the first time in my life, I took therapy seriously. And I went out and I found myself a therapist who I connected with. And between him and the books I'm reading, it was just that extra motivation and that reminder that I needed, that I have that power within me to manage these things and to just smile. So really in the last 9 months, I've really mastered this, if you will. Okay. And it showed my day-to-day life. I mean, nothing bothers me, at least not for long.
Okay, cool. So you were kind of just, did you like self-realize you were at the bottom and you were like, hey, my mental health sucks. I need to figure something out?
I literally was sitting in my living room, unhappy with everything. And that's when you have to look really, really deep in yourself and make a decision. You know, am I going to let this stress control me, or am I going to learn how to manage it? And it started with a phone call. I called some local offices to get in touch with my therapist, and the rest is history.
Did the therapist recommend smiling?
He did not, but what he recommended was me starting my personal growth journey. And then while I was in the midst of doing that and thinking about things, it kind of just came to me. Like, what can I do that's so simple, almost humorous? And it's just a smile. I mean, just imagine me standing in a busy restaurant and I'm just stopping in the middle of it with my eyes closed and I'm smiling.
When that steak comes out too overcooked and you just have to smile.
yeah. Just, okay. And then you can approach that steak. Exactly.
Very cool.
It was really just a natural manifestation.
All right, you've got about a minute left. Is there anything else we should know about you or smiling?
I just want to remind people that you have that power too. I mean, we're all very, very special human beings with incredible gifts, and just smiling is one of them.
I think that's all of our lives. Super important message. Super important. That's kind of the show is. It doesn't have to be Joe Rogan or someone famous. Everyone has something to give and something to teach. So exactly. I love having people that come on that like may or may not think they do or something, or they're like, I'm broke, or I don't believe in God or whatever. And it's like, yeah, everyone has something. Everyone has learned stuff. There's 8 billion people in this world. Mm-hmm. We all have something to share with another 5 billion that they don't know it yet. And, I really hope that this show hits really like the underprivileged communities. I'm moving to the Virgin Islands, so I know that I'm going to be promoting it there. I have a couple contacts in the government in Fiji, so I'm really trying to push it there. But a lot of these tips, like, everyone thinks about like, oh, I'm just an average American or whatever. But America has a lot of, financially at least, we're definitely in the upper echelon. So a lot of these tips can help out people anywhere, everywhere. And I mean, if stress is getting to, sometimes we have to remember how fucking privileged we are to be in America. Man, we got, like 3 wars going on that are massive across this world right now. I don't know if smiling is going to cure them, but it can definitely help some people that are, feeling that mental health, that stress coming in with all this craziness in this world. So that's a super awesome tip. Thank you so much, Justin.
Definitely.
All right. Our third guest here is Chanel. Good morning, Chanel. Welcome to Millionaires R Made.
Hello.
Let's start off with, who are you, Chanel?
I'm Chanel. I am a Coloradan. I am an entrepreneur like everyone else. I do a lot of so many different things.
You have to have a side hustle nowadays, right?
That's facts, dude. Yeah, I don't work the like typical 9 to 5. I help with 2 other ones, and then I do a lot of nonprofit work within the recovery world, and then I'm a recovery coach as well.
Very cool. All right. Recoverers, which is pretty much everyone, I feel like. Everyone's recovering from something. Cool. All right, Chanel. Well, let's dig into it. What is your tip if I wanted to improve my mental health by managing stress?
Totally. My tip is to chunk things out. When you have really big, like when projects seem super overwhelming, or when you wake up and you see that giant to-do list, chunk it out. Dedicate 30 minutes of time and dedicate that time chunk to just that one thing. And as soon as that time chunk is done, throw it in the back, throw it in the closet, and forget about it and come back to it.
Even if you're not done with it?
Correct.
Interesting. So learn to leave projects unfinished.
Yeah.
But at least you got a good chunk of it done.
Yeah. I find that, at least for me, I'm the kind of person that will tunnel vision into a project, and you look down and 6 hours has gone by, and while you've had this one project and now this one project is done, this giant to-do list is still there waiting for you. So I have found that chunking it out and like time blocking and being able to come back to that project, I'm able to get more stuff done, and I don't feel as overwhelmed because I'm seeing progress on all of the things on my to-do list.
Okay. All right. That's good. Yeah. So you don't have like 3 projects that aren't being touched.
Right.
You're at least progressing through them. So is that somewhat similar to time blocking?
Yeah, very similar to time blocking, or even making like SMART goals. If you're doing like trying to set a goal, same thing, making it very small, measurable, achievable, realistic, and constrained by a time.
So let me go over your morning routine. You wake up and you're like, I have 7 projects that need to be done in the next 2 weeks. You spend like the first 15 minutes and you're like, hey, I'm going to do half hour, half hour, half hour, half hour. Do you change it by priority, like an hour on this, or is it always half hour?
It depends day by day. And as I do a lot of branding work and a lot of marketing stuff. So sometimes I'll be working on something and I'll get a call from a client that's like, oh, hey, the details of this event changed, or this event's canceled, or I forgot about this event. Can we promote this? So it's nice to be able to take those and have that time kind of already chunked out of like, okay, cool. I was already spending 30 minutes on this project, but since you need this, let me replace this chunk with the new prioritized project. And then it kind of gives you a layout for your day so you can really see like, okay, I know I'm going to be working for these 4 hours on these 4 different projects. That leaves this amount of time for my day for other stuff. Like, what other productive things can I fill with that? Or if I want to go see friends, or if I want to go have a social life, or if I just want to get out and enjoy nature, I have that blocked time already dedicated. So I know what I can give. And it's not as overwhelming too, because I know that by the end of the day, these 4 things will be guaranteed to be done because of my time blocking.
Very cool. We've got about a minute left. How and where did you learn about time blocking?
My high school business teacher,
Fuck yeah.
His name was Mr. Laurie.
One of the good things you learned from high school. All right.
Yeah, he taught me kind of business 101 and stressed that you can't focus on one thing. Like, you have to be able to focus on different things at once, and being able to time block allows you to do that.
Very cool. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and bring everyone else on. So we'll add Laurie. We'll add Justin. What's up, everyone?
Hey.
Now comes the part of our show where we all kind of shoot the shit and talk about each other's tips, and maybe we have a little bit to add to that. So let's go ahead and start with Laurie's tip about the old, turn and burn, write and burn?
Write and burn, yeah.
Write and burn. At the end of the day, all the tough shit that stressed you out, you write it on a piece of paper and you fucking burn it, which I think is great.
It's gone. Poof, gone.
Justin, what are your thoughts on that?
I absolutely love that idea. It actually reminds me of an old exercise I did at a camp one time, where essentially you just take all of your fears in the same concept and you write them all down and you crumble it up and you burn it. So I think it's an incredible idea. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I jump to is, can I burn it and start my day off with burning all those things and then go out my day? I don't know, but if you can do that, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
Well, I guess so. Sometimes things that I like that. So every day I try to write down 6 things that I've done to improve all my 6 aspects of health. I've been doing this for fucking over a decade now. So I do it at like in the mornings is when, like with you, I like to like have a morning checklist and get it done, but I do it about the day before. So while Laurie, maybe at night, it might help you sleep better to relieve some of that. I mean, I would assume that if you didn't want to do it at night and you want to do it in the morning, that could work. In the morning, I do my meditation, my visualization, and then I kind of reflect on the day before. So if I'm stressed at night, I just fucking eat it all night, I guess. But yeah, I would assume that, I mean, everything is you take these tips and you can put them to your life however you want, or you can say fuck off and not do them however you want. Yeah. But yeah, I think the nighttime would have a little more effect, but I mean, doing it at all is going to be better than not doing it. Am I right?
Well, it's powerful too because it's tangible. Like, you can physically write this on this paper. You can hold the stress. You can see the stress, feel it, and then destroy it. I love that part of it.
And then destroy it. I think that's the best part. I think the burning is fucking huge.
Yeah.
There is actually a journal that I got like a year ago now called Wreck This Journal. And it prompts you to because I'm not very good at journaling. I'm not consistent and I'm very, very, very bad about it. So I was like, let me get this journal and try it. And yeah, it would have us do similar prompts of write all of the bad shit that has happened in your day and then just rip this in pieces. And yeah, it worked super well. I was very surprised at how effective that was.
Yeah, that's cool. I really like that tip. Thanks a lot there, Laurie.
You're welcome.
All right, who was our second one? Justin. All right. Oh, yeah, Chanel, go ahead and comment on Laurie's tip there. You kind of did. Do you have any other anything else you want to add?
just that it helped me a lot when I did it, and it was very beneficial.
Do you still do it?
No, I'm really inconsistent with journaling. I'm like, I did it at a period of time in my life where I needed to physically remove things. And I'm not at a point right now where I feel like set shit on fire and like throw it away and desecrate it. I'm more of like, I'm going to put it in the closet and I will deal with it eventually. And in the closet it sits. Yeah.
That's another thing too that is hard to recognize. And all these different aspects of health, it's hard to realize when you're, you know, at the low or the high, but sometimes your body you can feel it and you're like, I need to work on my mental health. So maybe you do some of these tips for the next 6 months and then you're like, dude, I feel fucking great. I'm the best human on this planet and I love everyone. Then maybe you start working on your spiritual or your physical health. And so that's a good tip to put out there, Chanel. It's not permanent forever. It could be, but also you can use it for specific times too. All right, well, let's move to Justin's tip. Laurie, Justin said that you should just shut up and smile. How do you feel about that?
I naturally smile a lot, so that might help, you know, me relieve some stress throughout the day, unless, you know, I'm just really focused on it. But because, you know, the more you focus on something, it just basically comes back to you. So smiling, I think is great. Other people need to see it as well, because you never know what others are going through.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, your smile can be contagious and can really affect other people's day. Unless you're Justin and it's just an overdone steak and you're alone.
I'm going to try that next time with the steak.
Who cooked them? All right. All right.
You're a quick learn. You're a quick learn.
Thanks, Justin. Chanel, what do you think about smiling? You're a smiley ass person too.
I am. I think that there are like these little moments, like glimmers throughout your day that kind of happen that sometimes they're really hard to capture, especially when you're like really busy and caught up in like the shit of everyday life. But those little glimmers, like really taking that time to just like enjoy that little moment and smile is super important.
Yeah, I think that is true. I think that the intentional, because I think, you know, most people smile a lot. I feel like I smile quite a bit and laugh a lot at stupid jokes that I make myself. But I think kind of with Laurie and with Justin's tips, you have to kind of realize that you are being stressed out, right? Like, shit, I'm not happy. Something's stressing me. And you have to intentionally either write it down and burn it or intentionally stop, take a breath and smile it out. And so I think that it's important to start noticing like when that stress hits, when your blood pressure rises and when your mental health starts deteriorating. Those are two really good tips. You know, Laurie's can be every day. I mean, you could do it when you get stressed out. If someone just calls and says your car is going to be an extra $5,000, you can just write that down and just say, fucking smile, write, and burn. There you go. But yeah, so those are, when you recognize it coming, those are ways to quickly do it. And then Chanel's obviously is a great way to prevent it even happening. Yeah, let's go about that. So Laurie, what do you think about Chanel's time blocking?
I think it's great. And it's kind of following in line with the book that I've been reading, The One Thing. Yesterday, I kind of listened to it, and it was going into time blocking and focusing on one thing. So, you know, when you first do your time blocking, of course, you want to do like either for your family or something that you want to do that day. So that's going to be the most important thing. But then you're going to time block over here for a task that you have to do and just focus on the one thing until you can get it.
I'm going to call it chunk blocking too for Chanel, just because she used the word chunk a lot.
Yeah.
It's not even necessarily time. Maybe it's even like a percent of a task. Like, hey, I need to get like the first 3 steps of this task done, this chunk.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't necessarily have to be there. As for me though, whenever I go into my office or any of my stores and we have meetings, we set a timer for 15 minutes and we focus on a task. And then at 15 minutes, we all pause and we do 11 push-ups. And then we go back to another task. And that's something I implemented probably a year ago. And it's optional. Obviously, some people are pissed off that day and they're like, fuck push-ups. But we do 11 because it used to be 10. And then we read Ed Milet, The Power of One More. So we do 1 extra push-up. So we do 11 or 11 squats or like 20 crunches or something like that. It's up to anyone, but it's kind of a way that we can time block so we can like get into a task, and then we get all delving into, we're like, oh, this new marketing campaign is gonna be great, and then at 15 minutes we're like, shit, dude, we forgot, we got to talk about this, and then we can move on from that. And so it's kind of the same idea there, that I schedule all my meetings around that. Justin, what do you think about chunk blocking?
I also love it. It's just one more tool that you can add to your utility belt to fight stress. But for me, it's kind of got two tiers to it. A, it's the first one actually being a tool where you can compartmentalize, organize all these stresses, and then attack them. But the second part of it is, how much does that actually increase your productivity? That's exciting. It's like, once you allocate that time block, not to just manage yours, but get that done, it's going to affect everything else in your life. I found it in my professional career. If I don't write down my time blocks, it doesn't happen. My phone goes off. I'm scrolling on the internet. I get hungry. My stomach growls. When I put something in my time block, I view it as life and death. So if I'm managing my stress, it's life and death. In this 60-minute time block, all I'm doing is that task, nothing else. I don't care if the wall next to me is burning. I don't care if if Jesus himself is coming to try to save me right now. It doesn't matter. I will get that done. But that's the power of chunk blocking. It can really do these things.
Good. So then, so if you have any questions about chunk blocking and efforts, maybe reach out to Chanel. All her contact info will be on this post, or comment, ask. I mean, we're on every social media. Millionaires Are Made. We'll respond to you pretty fucking quickly. So if you want to learn about chunk blocking or specific ways, you can reach out to Chanel. If you want to learn about intentionally smiling and noticing when stress comes, we'll have Justin's contact info there too. And then if you want to learn about burning the shit out of all the paper you write bad things on, we'll have Laurie's contact there too. All right, guys, it's the time of the episode where we have to come up with a weekly challenge, something that takes less than 5 minutes, that can be done every day, that we can challenge you guys as well as any viewers that want to join in how to improve our mental health through managing stress. What are some ideas?
I think breathing exercises.
Okay, so like 5 minutes of just deep breaths.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's an idea. Justin, you had one?
Yeah, the first thing that came to my mind was what you had said about trying to identify when that stress is coming. So we're offering tips to manage that stress, but it'd be cool if you could challenge yourself every day to spend 5 minutes and figure out what is it that triggers your stress, because it's something. It doesn't happen just because. So if you could identify that, it would serve you great.
So maybe take 5 minutes. I mean, this can be at any point in your day when you have a break, and just identify, maybe the top 2 stress, or maybe even just the number 1 stress producer of that day. I mean, then we could also write that down and burn it too.
Heck yeah, tie it all in while smiling.
Smile while doing. That's good. That's where I was going with it.
Yeah, block out a bedtime between 8 and 9. Write down all your stresses, close your eyes, and burn that son of a bitch.
Shit, we could do, I mean, these are all, we could go into it. We could just say, yeah, from like 8 a.m. to 8:05 a.m. every day, you block it out for the next week, and you write down whatever yesterday's number 1 stress factor was. You could do 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. I guess we can leave that up to the viewer. And then smile while you burn it. Oh, I can't wait to post this video.
Do like the hashtag, the ice bucket challenge. We'll do a close your eyes, smile, and burn challenge. Put it on the internet, hashtag it. Let's see everyone do it.
I like that. Yeah. So I'm gonna time block out from like 5 minutes a day. You choose when. Time block it. Write down the number 1 stress producer from the day before, or if you're doing it at night, it could be that day. Just write down someone's stressing you out. And then smile your ass off, get that lighter, and fucking burn it. I think that's the best challenge we've had yet. All 3 of you were in it. That's fantastic.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. All right, guys. Well, we have reached the end of it. Thank you all so much for coming. And we'll be tagging you on all the posts and the TikToks and all the shit that we produce. And I hope you guys had a great time. And we'll see y'all later.